Blockchain technology is revolutionizing digital industries worldwide. Blockchain technology is revolutionizing digital industries worldwide. For the first time in history, value can be transmitted fast and securely without an intermediary bank or third party. The Nexus framework further builds and improves upon the blockchain protocol. The Nexus platform focuses on three core principles: efficient and scalable code, enhanced security, and revolutionary hardware networks. For maximum efficiency, Nexus created the lower-level database, a specialized lightweight database built from the ground up that drastically improves speed and processing power. As the network and node count grows, the Nexus framework organically scales to keep up with increasing transactions. In addition to efficiency and speed, Nexus's advanced security protects against quantum computer attacks by using large, one-time use keys and 1024-bit hashes. With trust keys, nodes further secure the network and build up trust. In exchange, Nexus nodes earn a higher reward for their trust, giving them a larger minting rate. Using advanced hardware, Nexus is actively working with the aerospace industry to launch low Earth orbit cube satellites that further connects users and secures its data. Using satellites, ground stations, and mesh networks, Nexus is linking the blockchain with communications technology to provide a fully decentralized internet. With the development of both groundbreaking software and advanced hardware, Nexus is building a more resilient alternative to centralized financial institutions.
All right, folks, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I just want to welcome everybody to the live stream, all the crypto enthusiasts, folks that want to learn a little bit more about Nexus and Coinstore and this exceptional partnership that we're here to talk about today. I know this is live streaming around the world in multiple countries. This is on Facebook. It's on Twitch, it's on a number of platforms, and so welcome all those who are tuning in. I know we have a lot of new folks that are interested, not just in Nexus and Coinstore, but people are kind of feeling out blockchain itself and wanting to have a better understanding of Bitcoin. So first, let me just introduce this concept of Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto-san invented Bitcoin not just as a mechanism for financial freedom. For thousands of years, we've been conducting transactions between humans that are untrusted, that always required a third-party central intermediary. And, with technology, this has been replaced with mathematics. And mathematical code that cannot be changed because it's distributed across the world on thousands of computers. So it's really revolutionary. It's not just financial freedom. It also allows us the freedom to break away from centralized control and from third-party intervention. In every transaction that we do as humans, you have this parasitic third party. It was intended to be to support these kind of untrusted transactions, but as we all know, centralization grows and it concentrates and it holds power over everyday people. So this is the whole concept behind Bitcoin. Where centralization is censored, Bitcoin is uncensored. Where information is limited and controlled, with Bitcoin it's unlimited and uncontrolled. It's peer-to-peer. So but Bitcoin does have its vulnerabilities. We see now in this ecosphere of crypto that many different many different groups that started out with a good intention. They started out with the intention of being a part of this decentralized world. But what we're seeing now is that centralization is actually taking over inside this decentralized ecosphere. So it's under a new guise. Power is concentrating within the crypto arena. And so there are many Bitcoin vulnerabilities that are happening. We have centralized mining, centralization of mining hardware. We have centralized development and transactions. We have a lot of ICOs have become, a concentration for power. We have limited scalability. We have coming in the future, we're going to have quantum susceptibility. And a lot of times it's costly and inefficient because this centralization is growing within Bitcoin and crypto ecosphere. So, this is where you saw the video of Nexus. Nexus is a next generation blockchain technology. It's rebuilding the internet from the ground up. It's maximally decentralized, it's scalable, it's quantum resistant, it's an entire ecosystem, and it holistically resolves the vulnerabilities within Bitcoin. And best of all, it's really based on this ethos of love, trust, and collaboration. It features a 7-layer software stack powering a register-based virtual machine. It's verification-based design versus computational-based design that we see has all of these limitations that can't scale because they've designed this around a computational-based system. Nexus resolves that. It's a multi-dimensional sharded chaining structure. It's an application, a contract platform. It has a decentralized autonomous organization, a P2P marketplace. It's a decentralized internet in the making. And it is partnered with folks in the aerospace industry, where we will be launching up cube satellites in the future to be able to provide a decentralized version of the internet. So first, I just want to introduce this partnership. So we're talking about Nexus and Coinstore. Coinstore is an exchange that is based on this idea of enabling financial freedom. It sticks to the original ethos of Satoshi Nakamoto-san with his vision with Bitcoin. It's in partnership with FinTech and Blockchain Association, the FAB. It's one of the top 10 exchanges focused on the US and China. No, it's one of the top 10 exchanges focused on Singapore, born out of the Asian markets, expanding into Africa, Europe, and South America, while many of these top 10 exchanges are focused on the US and China markets. It has spot trading, futures trading, NFT trading, market for virtual assets. There are experts as part of Coinstore that are from Binance, from Coinbase. We've got experts on the team. It uses distributed servers, storage, hot and cold wallet services, and it offers a secure and stable trading. So here I want to introduce Coinstore. I think, do we want to play the video for Coinstore, or do we want to go right into introductions here? All right, so next, one more video here. Let's go ahead and roll the video for Coinstore, and then we'll go into some introduction.
In the global crypto asset trading market, the top 10 exchanges are mostly focused on the US and China markets. As a firm believer in crypto assets for everyone globally, the founding members of Coinstore realized that there are no exchanges that are able to meet the comprehensive requirements of Asian crypto assets users. These users prefer a platform with a better interactive experience, desire more localized communication and services, and expects a trustworthy trading platform that understands the local requirements. Thus, Coinstore was founded, based on the above market gaps and requirements. Coinstore aims to be the world's leading blockchain asset trading platform and was first conceptualized in Singapore in 2020. Coinstore's core focus are on spot exchange and derivatives trading services of digital assets such as BTC, ETH, and LTC to users in Asia, Southeast Asia, South America, and Africa. The team behind Coinstore comprises of experienced fintech professionals from many renowned top exchanges such as Coinbase, FTX, Binance, and Huobi. By deploying advanced technologies including GSLB, distributed server cluster, distributed storage, high-speed memory trade engine with multiple hot standby and hot-cold wallets, Coinstore assures their users of a secure, stable, and smooth trading environment, served through a convenient manner through multiple web and app platforms. Currently, Coinstore has launched 2 product functions, spot trading and futures trading. Other than that, Coinstore's roadmap includes the integration of a brand new NFT trading market, providing a wide range of possibilities for the real-world and virtual assets. In the process, creating new opportunities and income sources for creators in the digital fields of gaming, arts, sports, and technologies. In the long run, apart from the product advantages that conventional exchanges provide, Coinstore aims to build in soft features of fun and social into its product story concept, directed at attracting users to the social activities, improve users' trading experience with the fun element, enrich users' exploratory experience with innovative models, and constantly provide enriching scenarios for Coinstore users. Coinstore is committed to collaboration with project partners by launching popular and potential token projects with a broad global vision, market appeal, which are backed by strong investment and research principles, thus expanding available options to cryptocurrency enthusiasts to participate in token purchase and ownership, and build the world's best platform for popular crypto launches.
All right, so here we are with this release, the release partnership with Coinstore, Nexus, NXS, and USDT trading pair. I know this is something that the community has been waiting for a very long time. Being able to swap with a US dollar trading pair will also open the door for tokens that are on the Nexus blockchain to be able to be listed within Coinstore, including namespaces in partnership with their VC Labs division that can also help other tokens be able to have an opportunity to be listed and be a part of this crypto ecosphere. You know, Coinstore will provide contracts for listing on the exchange to affiliates of Nexus for the purpose of generating revenue for nonprofit commitments, and that's a big point here as well. There's a lot of efforts going on around the world that are nonprofit in which Coinstore and Nexus are a part of. And this Nexus Coinstore Academy, you may have heard about this. This is in the works to raise crypto awareness around the world, education, and access, improving third world development. And so before I go into the introduction of special guests, I just want to thank everyone on the team here that helped put this whole thing together. There's too many people to name, but Gabe, Chris, Kat, Guidi, Mike, the Mad, Chris, Phil, Neil, Aaron, and many members from Coinstore. So we're going to introduce Colin Cantrell. He's a software architect, engineer, musician, and composer. He's raised in the aerospace industry. He took up programming at the age of 11, helped build rockets at the age of 16. This guy's done it all. And through these combined interests, in 2014, Nexus was born, bringing together technologies to promote greater distribution of resources and communication. His ultimate vision is to increase accessibility to these technologies in order to help people build a greater connection to one another. It's one of the few blockchains that have stuck to the core principles of decentralization at all costs, not being swayed, by the centralization of power and money, but instead sticking to that vision to help make the world a better place. I'll give it away here to Colin Cantrell for a few minutes. Hey, Colin, how's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
All right, so maybe you can just talk a little bit and tell the community, how do you feel about the community coming together, also including with donations to help make this partnership a reality?
It's been really beautiful to watch the community blossoming, because one of the biggest challenges I found with decentralization is kind of the shifting of the mindset. A lot of times we're coming out of this oppressed economy, right, and moving into these new economies, and so it takes a different type of mindset. And this whole partnership and this, I guess, this whole session that we're doing right now is a result of that. Lots of people who've become inspired, and they've been taking things into their own hands, and it's really that's the beautiful part that I see is I see this blossoming, is seeing people realize what they're capable of and taking some things into their own hands, because I'm only one person, right? I build code. So it takes a community really driving this thing forward, and it takes people willing to be, taking that step towards decentralization, which takes a lot more skill, honestly. And that's one of the beautiful things I find about this industry is, all the prior money, capital in the world, venture capitalists, they don't have the capability to do it necessarily because of this shifting in this mindset. And so regular people can come together and, form a nexus, which is essentially just a network of people. Nexus means a connection or series of connections linking two or more things. So, we can come together and form this and empower ourselves through, what we've already been doing. But, instead of empowering these central authorities as we've done prior, now we have the ability to empower ourselves, right, and have technology to facilitate that. So yeah, it's been a really beautiful process. It's, I think, 8 years down the road now. We're still chugging away, still building stuff, and it's also nice to be around such a patient community too that understands what it takes, really, because
Right.
the way I see it is we have, we're building these financial systems to last centuries, so it's going to take a little bit longer than 6 months or a year to develop the technology to do so, right? And so we've been on that road for about 8 years now, and I mean, we've probably got another few before we're going to see some of the full sharding and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's been a great process to see and to watch. I mean,
Maybe
Pat, you've seen it too. Yeah.
tell the community a little bit about, we talk about how long this journey is
Yeah.
to build a blockchain like this. And I think, you could probably talk a little bit about the challenges that are happening with other blockchains who have rushed their designs in such a way that now they're stuck, right? They can't
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
And they're coming
Mhm.
out with centralized ways to get around the scalability problem.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and that's also, it's a result of the other way of thinking, right? Decentralization really, to make it function properly, it's an art form, because you have this combinatorial explosion, which means you have all these different nodes. When you have a combination of events, it exponentially increases the complexity of the system. And so as you start adding more and more nodes into the system and figuring out how to make it scale in a trustless way, which means anybody can join the network, but you have to be able to filter out who's somebody that's actually contributing and who's somebody that's malicious, right? It's very, 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 very difficult. And I mean, it's I've been programming since I was 11, and Bitcoin chewed me up and spit me out 10 times over. That's how we learned how to build what we're building. And a lot of people are cutting the corners in the centralization because they want to get these products to market, and they're not really seeing the larger vision of it, right? Like, we have Polkadot, who's 5 private keys they can sign, 4 of them are founders, and it's pretty easy to make a centralized system scale, because you don't have to coordinate all these things. You don't have to rely on not trusting one another in the system. But to see a truly decentralized system scale, it's definitely, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of resources, and it takes a lot of shifting of our own mindsets, which isn't something so easily done, right? As we know, once we grow up, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's more difficult. So we're seeing a lot of that, and a lot of that replaying through crypto, right? And like, a lot of the Wall Street mentality is replaying, and then a lot of the the crypto economy is just falling for that centralization, and because it's easier, and it'll give you more immediate results, but in the long term, you end up with problems like we're seeing with Ethereum, right? Like, building software is somewhat like building a building. Once you lay that foundation, it's not too easy to be able to change that. And we've seen that personified with Vitalik. He'll state, you can't change a car, that's driving down the road 60 miles an hour. And that's something that I learned, over this last 8 years, is that every little decision you make now has this type of combinatorial explosion into the future, right? It makes so many effects on the users, every little decision you make. And so a lot of these people that have launched these, blockchains, that they just wanted to get to market quicker, are starting to recognize now that they've made all these mistakes. If we remember 2017, exchanges were shutting down left and right from the influx of people because they weren't designed to scale, right? They worked at a smaller, level of scale in the industry, and then they had to go shut down new users to rebuild their whole back ends to make it work. So we're kind of focused on, let's build it right from the ground up, so that when we get to going 60 miles an hour, we're not going to have to change the tire, right? The car is already built, ready to go. So yeah, we're pretty methodical in how we do it. And, the more and more I researched and understood, the more I realized the weaknesses of existing technologies. Like one of those, I was talking about the repeating of the mindset is, most cryptocurrencies use Level DB, which is Google's database, which was just developed for Google to store, information, and it's a key value storage engine. So, we found there's tons of limitations in that, especially that a blockchain is an ever growing data set. And, databases conventionally, as the data set grows, they get slower and slower and slower. They're usually a logarithmic time complexity. So I've spent probably I think it was about 4 years developing, a new database that doesn't slow down. It's called constant time. And that's a really key feature that's necessary for blockchain growth, right? Because if you have an ever-growing data set, then that means you're ever going to be slowing down. And if it should be the opposite, where, as more people join, you should have more computational capability, right? That's at least the idea of distributed computing. But I don't think that's been fully realized with blockchains, because, you have this exponential time complexity for message propagation. You have all these other issues. You have these database issues even, and it just, there's a lot of little details that I think have been overlooked, and those little details, kind of come and bite you in the butt if once you get down the line, and once you have all the users, you can't so easily change it, right? So, we've stayed pretty small over the years, in some senses, just because our technology is very different, and it's a little bit more difficult to understand. But on the other side, because we've been focused primarily on developing solid technology that can be a solid foundation, and also developing things that aren't necessarily specific to blockchain, such as this database can be embedded as a database service, and you can use it for your web applications. And I've tested it up to about 500 million keys, and it's just as fast as if it has 5 million keys or one key, right? It's constant time. So that also brings benefit to other areas of the internet. So, we see this whole blockchain is somewhat of a subset of a larger framework, where we can provide these roots of trust. We can replace all these centralized intermediaries with this blockchain, common source of truth, because that's essentially what these central parties do, such as certificate authorities, is they're just acting as a trusted middleman so that people can reference each other through this trusted database, right? And the blockchain, the trust from the database comes from the consensus, right? Which allows it to function without the need for those. So we can replace certificate authorities, we can replace ISPs, we can replace all these central infrastructures that were kind of band-aids around the internet. And if you want to get down into like unscalable architecture, we talk about the internet's architecture too. I mean, it works for now, but I've spent a lot of time with some of the fathers of the internet, one of which, Dino Farinacci. And I learned a lot of the issues with the internet as well. I mean, he's, in his words, he says the internet scales because it drops packets, not because it forwards them, right? So a lot of things that I've seen in computers the last few decades has been reactive architectural development rather than proactive architectural development. Which what that means is you have a problem you realize that you had because you didn't anticipate that in your initial architecture, so you have to develop new architecture to supplement that, such as DNS. That back in the day they used to pass around a host file, and they're like, well, people aren't going to want to type in all these numbers. Okay, well, let's create this new thing, domain name system, right? And they've just continued to do this reactive. Oh, we're running out of IP addresses. You think, yeah, 4.3 billion addresses isn't enough, we need to do IP6. Oh wait, but now the whole internet's already propagated with IP4, so who's going to buy these new routers? It's hardware defined. So these problems keep multiplying when you have these reactive architectural developments. It's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. But we focus on proactive architectural developments, which requires one to have the foresight to see forward in the future of what people are going to need, so you can develop all the things now that will function to serve that in the future, rather than constantly having to play catch up because your architecture is just not fulfilling the requirements you set it out to do.
Yeah, you've touched on a lot of things here that really gets to the heart of some of the problems with blockchain and some of the solutions. You talk about constant time, this idea of a three-dimensional blockchain that's based on duplexing, parallelism, and as it scales and as it adds more to the network, more nodes to the network, it actually gets faster. You've talked about a trust as being a central part of of the idea of blockchain in itself and how you built that into Nexus. As we know, Nexus uses a trust system. It's similar to, instead of gaining interest, you're gaining trust over time. So the good actors on the network. There's many other things, with Nexus. We probably don't have time to go through all of them today, but we've got coming with Tritium. We've got a lot of things. You're going to talk a little bit about that later with pooled staking, P2P marketplace, augmented contracts, and this idea of a two-factor authentication is a unique idea, using the blockchain to be able to authenticate your own devices independently of third parties. We all think that it's just from our local device, these two-factor authentications, but really behind the scenes, most of this stuff is completely centralized. And so trust and scalability and keeping that decentralization have been three key things. And now here we are with Coinstore, expanding and partnering with other groups and individuals who have stuck to that original idea behind Satoshi Nakamoto-san when it comes to Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on this partnership, and how do you see it going forward?
I think it's wonderful, and I'm really happy that we've met people that are aligned in the similar, principles that see the ethos of blockchain, that we're working to drive these things forward. And it's really good to see new innovation, people looking at tapping into markets, helping third worlds. I mean, that's fundamentally what I think is one of the most beneficial things that we can do for the world, is to help balance between these illusionary borders, right? That's what's created so much economic disparity, and that's one of the reasons why you have third worlds, is because these different varying economic conditions that are really regulated by these invisible lines that we call countries. And I think it's really good to hear and see that focusing on leveling those types of things and creating something that people can access and utilize. And doing it in a way that retains the integrity of the individual, right? I think that's something that's really important for us to be able to demonstrate for the world, is a new way, and then that requires that, like I was saying, this new way of thought, which is complemented with the action. So I think it's a wonderful partnership. I'm really happy that we all have met each other. You guys have worked really hard on making this work. I'm really excited about it.
All right. Well, let's introduce Ramesh Shirkonda, currently working as Global Listing and Partnership Manager with Coinstore Exchange, based out of Singapore. He spent the last 5+ years exploring this journey into blockchain and crypto. He's a founding team member for Bootstrap Crypto Startup, business development, strategic partnerships, blockchain consult, and community manager. He's wore various hats in this industry, a very dynamic individual, 12+ years experience in diversified industries, managing several business lines such as edtech platforms, telecom, human resources, life insurance, and airline revenue accounting. Let's turn it over here to Ramesh Shirkonda. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tash, for such a wonderful introduction. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so thank you for this opportunity once again to introduce about Coinstore. So yes, Coinstore. Our punchline is we are the first top place for all the popular crypto, and we want to bring fun in financials. Okay, so that is our tagline, and of course, Coinstore Exchange started 2 years back. Our operations we started last year, early 2021. And it's been more than a year now. And Coinstore vision is to provide access to the best of the blockchain technologies, for all our users. Okay, so that is one of our vision. We believe in some of the core values, which includes credibility, transparency, and of course passion. And our mission is to again provide access to the best of the blockchain technologies to all the tech savvy people, and also the most important is the common human being, okay, who's not tech savvy, who doesn't have reach, okay, doesn't understand about blockchain. So we want them to access the good parts about the blockchain industry and this crypto world. So that is our one of the mission. And then yes, it's been a fantastic journey from last 1.5 years with Coinstore. And so far, we are, if I was talking to you like 6 months back, our ranking was in 200, and today Coinstore is standing in top 50 in CoinGecko. In fact, yesterday we were at the ranking of 2027 in CoinGecko. And ranking is just a number. We believe in more partnership. Okay, we want to expand. I think this is a strong belief which our entire team has. Our headquarters is in Singapore. We have a beautiful office in Singapore, a vibrant team of around 180 plus employees. We are growing very fast. Our 40% of team, they are based out different regions. Okay, we have team in Southeast Asia, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Korea. Then we have team in Vietnam. Singapore is our headquarters. So we have our core team, which includes a marketing team, which works 24/7. We have a technical team. We have our senior product managers. We have our senior directors. So our core team is in Singapore, and yes, we do have team in some of the Asian countries. We have team in India, and we also have team in Middle East and Europe and South America, and of course we are expanding very fast. So with that note, Coinstore currently the number of users what we have is around 800,000 users, and we are going to touch our target milestone, which is going to be 1 million in a couple of months. And of course, our next target will be to achieve 10 million users. Okay, so that's how the team is focusing on, because we are growing very fast in product development, in hiring, and of course in marketing. So these are our three key areas which we are focusing. And definitely, the results are there. Currently, we have more than 60 projects already listed on our exchange. We have another 20 projects which are in pipeline. Another target milestone is going to be 100 projects, and the next would be 600 projects by end of this quarter. Okay, quarter 3. So that is what our roadmap looks like. Okay, so these are a couple of things which I wanted to touch base. And yes, as an exchange, we believe in more and more strategic partnership. So really very happy with partnership with Nexus. Okay, because Nexus is the chain which I believe we have a strong presence in Southeast Asia. We have large community of people around, okay, who are very much actively trading, so they can get access to a token. So this is one of the concept which we are working. We want to connect, one user of another world, to the project which is in another world. This is what we are trying to connect. Okay, so this is a great platforms, for to get maximum exposure, and Coinstore is really working hard on that. And
so tell us, a little bit about, so what drew that interest between Nexus and Coinstore, and why is this such a good matchup?
Yeah, I think one of the main reason is we are expanding in South America, we are expanding in Europe, and the technical team, okay, the technical white paper of blockchain, that is and Nexus, that is something which is going to help as an exchange, because what we see is a lot of projects will be aspiring to get deployed on Nexus in future. So that gives a complete access to all these projects to get listed on Coinstore. Not only just get listed on Coinstore, but also there are more strategic partnership which we can do, and we can grow our community. Okay, since we have very strong interest in South America and of course Europe. So this is one of the reasons which we believe in. And of course, Coinstore got a great team. What we have seen, and it's been like 1 month of journey. We have seen the entire integration process. So it's wonderful to have Nexus on Coinstore Exchange.
All right. Well, thank you, Ramesh. And as Ramesh said, Coinstore and Nexus coming together, it's a perfect matchup, and especially where a lot of people, especially in centralized industries, talk about developing third world and providing services for third world. But what we actually see happening is an abandonment of these areas because they are not profitable in the eyes of many centralized organizations. And so, trying to get crypto and this idea of decentralization out so that we can network and we can build a decentralized network peer-to-peer, which is exponential. as opposed to the linear growth opportunity of centralized systems. And so this partnership represents, I think, a great milestone for Nexus. And on behalf of Nexus, we thank Coinstore, and together I think we'll continue to expand. And so next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, of the co-chairman and CEO of Est Global. This is an enterprise based in Boston, Cambridge, MIT ecosystem, Cambridge Innovation Center. Dr. Sindhu's worked his career to global leadership in transforming financial ecosystems through digital evolution, fintech revolution, and financial inclusion. He's now leading an initiative to impact most of the world's population in rural and farming sectors. The EST group comprises of several enterprises like EST Grow More in Uruguay and Canada, FinTech EST in Peru, BranchX in India, EST FinTech and World Trading League in Singapore, EST Digital Africa, and that's just to name a few. So I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, and please, tell us your thoughts on this crypto market, Coinstore, and this partnership with Nexus.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me and giving such a long introduction. Basically, we are an impact platform. So, of course, the question comes in: how come we are aligning with Coinstore and Nexus? But since all our platform is having blockchain initiative, so we are not against crypto, or we are not against centralization or decentralization. It is a very well-balanced platform that we are creating for technology to become the social comforter for every human being. So that is the basic concept with which we have developed the platform. Now, right now I'm representing FAB here, which is again a decentralized platform. I will define it like a decentralized platform for digital knowledge and intelligence proliferation among the students. So we are creating the digital empowerment of the student force in centers like 3, 4, 5, 6 of every developing country. So we are in India, we are in Africa, and this digital empowerment cannot be brought without aligning with institutions like Nexus, which has the novel blockchain system, and Coinstore, which is unique with its speed and its implementation process and the whole concept of exchange as a whole. So with them coming together with us, it provides a strong knowledge base for our students to have different facets and various agenda of blockchain under one umbrella. So that is the basic reason why we joined hands with Nexus and Coinstore. And as we know, and as Colin just now said also, that they are more towards proactive development rather than reactive development. And Ramesh was talking of technical speed and the project implementation, and how in 2 years' time they have gained good positioning overall. So those are the facts which are going to help us in FAB and our students, because we are not only trying to give them digital knowledge and education, but at the same time put them into internship position with different companies and different organizations, so that they can give their own effort, give their own labor, and people can then judge them on the basis of their performance with their organization. And that may open the door for their job also. So that becomes a very, very novel way of creating, creating headhunter services, you can say. So we can provide that employment opportunity. But as blockchain is seeping in different layers of government and different layers of society, and practically every scheme is talking of blockchain-based technology. So if we don't empower our students and digitally educate them, then they will be on very shaky grounds and they will skid in the development process. So it is our earnest desire and it is our religious responsibility to make them ready for the coming years and coming days so that they can be fully empowered to fight all the technology and create the real digital army for any country.
Yeah, Dr. Sindhu, what I really hear you saying is that the industry is so focused right now in the development of the technology, right? And there's this golden opportunity to really not just have this, the technology and the accessibility is one problem, but there's a large amount of focus on that. But part of that accessibility has to do with education and has to do with connecting humans. We tend to forget and just get absorbed into the technology portion of this. But I think, what I hear you saying, and with this Coinstore and Nexus Academy partnership, is really to expand on that education, that accessibility, and putting the future, the future kids of tomorrow that are going to be utilizing this technology in a space that we can empower them, we can enable them to connect back to their communities, to connect with each other, and not just look at this agnostically as some technology that can benefit business, but also benefit the world. So maybe say a little something else about this Nexus Academy concept and how you see that moving forward into the future.
Yeah, that's what exactly I was trying to hint at, that the whole concept of P2P imparting of knowledge, P2P transactions on exchanges. So Fab is providing P2P knowledge. So students which are trained by us are then going and interacting with students of say less developed area or less technology area. And as we know that the most effective way of circulating anything, expanding anything, achieving any success is P2P transaction. That's the best and the most effective, because I can give you a very practical example. Just in the days of COVID, there were so many kids who could not even go to school, and school wherein they are having a direct interaction with their friends, that becomes the biggest learning point and biggest learning center for all those kids. So they missed on all those opportunities. And here, those are the things which we are trying to symbolize and we are trying to create in Fab, that there should be such a center with the help of the knowledge base of our partners like Nexus, and then the trading lessons from Coinstore, that they can be fully equipped with all these P2P transactions on economic level, as well as through us, they go towards the social level. So it is trying to create, it is trying to create an ecosystem of humanity with technology, which can have a very humane and social face, and then we can have blockchain and our exchanges working towards social enterprise and social exchange of values. Like Colin talked of how values are changing. Values have totally changed. So even social values, humanitarian values, all those have changed with the new technology.
All right.
So with this P2P interaction level, this academy of Nexus is definitely going to create the real foundation stone for this social entrepreneurship system that we are trying to create.
Well, let's let Colin and Ramesh jump in on this conversation and talk a little bit more deeply about, the partnership and how we see this moving forward, this education, accessibility, social aspect of the Coinstore Nexus Academy partnership. There's a lot to talk about here. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Yes, I think we have to really scan some of the high growth countries, okay, like China, India, Indonesia, Nigeria. Okay, there are more countries. Okay, these are all emerging countries. If you look at their population size, okay, like highest would be India, sorry, China, then next will be India. And if you also have to look at the adoption rate, okay, so the adoption rate against the population is very, very less at this point of time. Okay, when it comes to the blockchain adoption or crypto adoption. Okay, so there is a huge gap. What I see is, yeah, those who wants to learn about this technology, and those who wants to impart. So what I understand is this kind of partnership is trying to bridge that gap, okay, by providing access to all the end users, all the end community members who wants to get access to blockchain and crypto space. Okay, so this is what I see, like bridging the gap.
All right. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's really also a good place to demonstrate new technologies and show people, what it takes to do proactive development. And like, Dr. Ramesh was saying is, basically, demonstrating what proactive architectural development looks like, and demonstrating that to people, and also demonstrating the humanitarian aspects. Because I think in the time that we're at, the world doesn't need another leader. The world doesn't need another figure to follow. The world needs to learn to follow themselves, and to learn to tune into that, truth within themselves. And I think this is something that's really important. That's something that really excites me a lot, is helping that, helping that mindset, helping nurture that. These people that have been broken, their spirits have been broken, and helping them reinvigorate that fire, and realize who they are, and by empowering them and educating them, because there's so much deprivation in knowledge, right? And if we look at some of the models of, like, this is something I studied just through history, just a little example of what created the Dark Ages is it was after the collapse of the Roman Empire, when it went to the Eastern and Western Empire, roads fell out of service and people couldn't travel. And so information stopped being able to be exchanged, and libraries got burnt and books got burned. So, when we're looking at a dark age, is a lack of knowledge, right? So what is a golden age? What is, it's an abundance of knowledge, right? So having this ability to track these informations in this, it helps, nurture that new growth, right? And it helps people be able to exchange these things. And that's something that I think is really important as well, is being, having people open to that education, having people able to receive that knowledge and, that light, that, that's what kind of counteracts. And what kind of finally pulled us out of the dark ages, interesting enough, was the scientific method, which, if we apply that, as an analogy to blockchain, what the scientific method really did is it removed the authority of information from, central figures like the church, to the people that were able to independently verify one another. And a blockchain on the computational level is doing the same type of thing. You're verifying your peers. That's how you derive trust out of the system without needing to have trust. Is, you can say, you have $5 all you want, but I can verify that you do or don't based off of this decentralized ledger, right? And that's actually what created this new, it was kind of a golden age after the Renaissance, that, Leonardo da Vinci, and there's all this beautiful art that came as a result of it as well. And that really came from just the fundamental premise of being able to verify your peers, right? And so taking that to this next level, right, I really believe developing partnerships with people that are aligned in these principles and want to bring this knowledge to people, and create technologies that incubate that rather than suppress knowledge, right? Like, we've seen certain, platforms are, engaging in technology and AI to suppress information, where we're doing the exact opposite to free that information. And I believe it will have a similar result when this fully takes root, as we saw with the Renaissance, right? Is the growth, is people are able to verify one another and trust one another, and ultimately trust themselves. And that's one thing that I think is the best that we can do, is help people in that process, because that's what really makes a powerful network, right? It's just simple game theory. You have Sarnoff's law, which is, hub and spoke. It's a linear relationship. It's a linear value model, right? And what we're demonstrating with these exponential networks is exponential value models. And that happens as more of these people are able to recognize their own capabilities in themselves and their piece in that puzzle, rather than relying on some external force to say, hey, you're going to save us, you're going to come show us the way. Right? We help people find that within themselves, right? And that really, truly, helps them become empowered, and then teach them the ability to verify, right? And verify that information. And then that brings us into a new realm of knowledge, which I think could, usurp the Renaissance that we experienced a few hundred years ago.
Yeah, and how blockchain enables, you talked about this hub and spoke. The hub normally being that you have services going one direction. So you have the services in a central group coming one direction. What you're talking about here with Sarnoff's law in this comparison is that each person, each individual person across the planet is both a service provider and a consumer. And when you combine those, you get this exponential growth opportunity that you can never achieve, without embracing this idea of connectivity and decentralized connectivity.
Yeah.
It has become a fad to discuss DeFi and CeFi, that there is a perennial clash between centralized forces and decentralized forces. So that is how we are trying to project the technology nowadays. But if we focus on the DeFi aspect of the technology and make it happen on a social platform or on a political platform and create that ecosystem with which it can cater to all the needs of people without having a centralized organization or centralized entity, that will really bust the bubble of CFIs, and that is where blockchain will do the wonders. But going with the point of validation and verification, see, validation and verification does not mean that whatever the centralized institutions or agents validate and verify or confirm, that need to be the ideal one and the best one. The concept of DeFi should be that validation should be such that it can lead to adoption by other unit, and there should be different unit islands interacting with each other and creating the whole commerce model, political model, religious model, say consensus model, everything. So that is how it should go. And that is what my concept is, and even my platform is just working on all those things. When I my neo-banking platform or the agri-tech platform, we are trying to create all that social capitalism, wherein there are different islands, economic units, which are interacting with each other and creating that stakeholder capitalism, which is not earning profit or making money. That's capitalism. Capitalism in a very broad sense. So that is how I am trying to define blockchain and social order or political order or religious order, that ultimately it is what we think, we as human beings join hands and decide and agree on. That is the norm of life, norm of society. So blockchain is providing that with validation forces, which is under your control. You are creating it and you are controlling it. So you are the user, you are the interactor, and you are also the provider. So we are playing multiple roles in this technology, and that is what we have to understand and adopt and adapt to all the various facets of that technology.
Yeah, and by connecting people one to one, I think it creates this thought pattern for humans that we don't always have to have authority figures as an intermediary for us to live on this planet as human beings and being sovereign. What are your thoughts on that, Ramesh?
Yes, absolutely. So what I understand is, the blockchain has very big power, and it's still, the potential is still, people are exploring. Okay, we need to unleash that potential of blockchain. I can see that there are many, more than 40 industries already using blockchain as a service, as their core operations right now. Okay, people are already deployed their final products. People have still in the testing phase. Okay, there are many industry. If you talk about supply chain, if you talk about transportation, if you talk about the government, land registry, okay, voting system, there are so many use cases which are still exploring the real potential of blockchain. Some of them have already in the final stage, some of them have already implemented. So what I see is like, again, going back to the point of our partnership, like where Nexus and Fab and Coinstore, we three are going to merge, and we're gonna of course work on more like educating people and creating awareness. So on that note, I wanted to add something like today, if Nexus blockchain should get an opportunity to explore some of the parts of these regions, okay, where the developers are still using the traditional blockchain system. Okay, they are still have that myth that oh, I need to develop in Ethereum, or I need to develop in Tron. Okay, but why not Nexus? Okay, so I think that is something which we have to explore, and we have to go to the maximum region, maximum community, which will have developers, which will have people who wants to know about what is blockchain. Okay, so we can bridge those gaps, we can touch based on points by having this joint venture of educating people. Okay, so I thought probably I'll add this point.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, and to add to that too, I really like the synergy too of making it a simple to use user experience, right, on the exchange for people that are just your everyday user. That's what we focus on kind of for developers as well. The Nexus framework is making it easy for developers so that you don't have this burden of, hey, I have this web app that I want to build. Oh, I have to go pay $160,000 a year to an Ethereum developer. You can just hire a simple web developer. You can learn how to issue some of those commands yourself and use Bubble. And that helps, in that everyday user, because I think that's something really important to freeing these people is the technology, and the advancement of the technology provides that user experience. And a lot of people don't fully understand that. They would say technology doesn't matter. It does, to the point of what, an advanced technology can take something very complicated and make it very easy to use. And I think that's a really beautiful synergy that we have in this partnership, as well as that we're both focused on that in helping those people that may not be as educated be able to still function with the same capability as other people that were.
Yes, Colin, I think you mentioned it very correctly. Okay, I think this is the vision what we are looking with this partnership. Okay, by going to the community where they don't even know about the real potential of blockchain. Okay, how it is going to help them. They don't have the access of it. I think that is where Fab team is doing wonderful work. Okay, in organizing workshops, in organizing seminars. I heard that I think this is something which is in plan, that something which we are planning in Nigeria, something we are planning in India. Okay, some kind of joint collaboration on workshops, seminars for students. We are talking about more than 40,000 of students. Okay, so that is the kind of horizon what we are looking in the next couple of months. Okay, so I'm sure that this partnership will definitely help. Okay, so for Coinstore, Nexus is listed, so it's of course a proud moment. Okay, as an exchange to have Nexus on getting traded. So there are more potential synergies which we can explore, like we mentioned before, that we can also learn from each other in terms of technical integration, how we can advance each other's services, as you mentioned about user experience. So can we explore on that? Plus there are we also are Coinstore is also coming up with VC lab, okay, where we're gonna incubate those projects which has the idea, okay, which has the white paper, and they want to incubate they want to get connected with some of the venture capitalists. Okay, so we already have partnered some of the top venture capitalists, so we're gonna onboard these projects to them, and this is how we're gonna help them to create and to bring their idea alive.
Yeah, and you speak about this, not only the partnership, but going through this journey on the integration. So what I'd like to do now is introduce a little video with Kendall Cormany, who from the Nexus team, one of our top developers, who's been partnering with Coinstore throughout this integration. And let's just see what he has to say about this.
Hello everyone, I'm Kendall. I'm a developer here at Nexus and the head of the logical arm. I want to congratulate everyone on the Nexus and Coinstore team for putting this together, executing on this partnership, and getting the exchange up and running. Working with the Coinstore team has been, absolutely fantastic. They've been able to understand, some of the complex, things that we are putting together. As we are developing a brand new API that's not like anything else on the market or in the crypto space, and for them to be able to adapt quickly on some of the new things that we're doing was really impressive. And it's going to take them to the next level and build this exchange to be, I think, one of the top exchanges in the world. It's really exciting to see what they're doing in some of these underutilized markets like South Asia and Africa. I think there's a lot of potential there, a lot of really cool people in those areas that want to be involved in the crypto space, and being able to have this exchange to go out and reach some of those people, it's going to be huge. I'm really excited with some of the stuff that Nexus and Coinstore have been talking about in terms of our partnership, I can't say anything more positive than that. This has been a great experience. This is huge, and then this is just a stepping stone, I think, to more partnerships, more integration within Coinstore. I think this is going to definitely springboard Nexus into the more mainstream space, and I also think that this is going to help Coinstore climb the ladder of exchanges in the world, and how people can use Coinstore for more than just spot trading. The things that that's are being worked on it's gonna be really, really cool. So we're really excited to get this started. So I want to thank everyone for showing up, and let's celebrate. All right, have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, it's good to hear from Kendall and get a view on the inside in terms of what it's like to do an integration like this. Nexus is a very unique blockchain, as Kendall mentioned. We have this integrated API that allows accessibility and more user friendliness for other developers or those who want to integrate Nexus. And seeing it integrated into Coinstore and opening up the door for other assets and NFTs and tokens that are on the Nexus ecosphere, as we move forward, those opportunities will just compound. So are there any, before we kind of wrap up, we want to show an inspirational video from a band called Human Synergy Project that Colin Cantrell heads up, and it really connects us back to why we're doing all of this. Why blockchain? It's not just about exchange and making money and technology. It's really about getting back to our roots as humans and doing something that can help advance this world evolutionary, right? So that we can survive as a species, treat each other with dignity, one-on-one, without these super top-down hierarchical structures, right? We can break down some of those walls and get back to our roots. It's all about community and connection. So any last minute words before we transition into that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say one of the reasons why we've added music and focused on that is all great movements have music, right? If we look at all the great changes in, the Renaissance, we look at, what happened in the 60s, it was driven by music, and music is a fundamental part. I think it's something that we all relate to. And it's, I think, something that helps bridge that gap to a lack of understanding to where we can actually feel and understand and experience some of these things and some of these changes. And it's a great way to spread that message too. So that's one reason why we've included music as a part of this whole movement. Is music always accompanies revolutions, right? And it's something that's really important, I think, for humanity too as well. It connects us. Music connects us together. If you've seen the videos of Queen concerts, everybody singing Bohemian Rhapsody together, right? And for that moment, everybody's differences are aside because they're all having this single experience. And music is something that really does that for us. So that's one reason why we put a focus on that, because I believe that this new change, it's a technologically driven change, but it's also going to bring a new level of artistic expression. That's one thing that Nexus is actually built with, is that, and that's what makes it scale. And that's what makes the architecture as capable as it is. It's an art form as well as it is a technology.
Any last words, Ramesh?
Yeah, yes, I think absolutely. I look forward for more synergies, more things happening with this partnership, and as a Coinstore Exchange, we are coming up with many new initiatives. Okay, most of our product are undergoing some development. So hopefully by June, you should see some of the new features coming to our platform. Okay, one is NFT marketplace. We are going to come with we're going to come with OTC. We're going to come with staking derivatives. We will have our launchpad, IEO, and then peer to peer. And then there are many major development which is in pipeline. Okay, so hopefully we can talk about some synergies over there. And yes, we would like to share once again a stage where all three of us are together very soon, in any of the events. Okay, because Coinstore is already planning for 50 crypto and blockchain events, and recently we participated in Thailand. Okay, that was Crypto Expo 2022, and next month we're gonna be in Singapore, and we are also gonna be in Barcelona. Okay, and some of the other events which are planned this year end is Turkey and London, and hopefully there are many events which will there. So I hope to see you guys, whichever location you are comfortable.
All right, thanks, Ramesh and Dr. Sindhu. We'll give it to you for the last comments of the day and in this amazing partnership, coming together between Nexus and Coinstore. I think everybody's really excited about this, and this is just the seeds for, I think, a lot more than what people see as this partnership on the surface.
Exactly. Whatever you see on ground, it is more than that, double or three times more than that below the ground. So, as a matter of fact, I can just tell you that we are very, very thankful to different universities and colleges who have aligned with us. Just to name a few, like Chandigarh University, then there is another IMS Ghaziabad, two more universities. I'm signing the agreement in the coming week. So we are getting lot and lot of recognition from different universities and colleges, and that's why our student base is swelling. And it is not only in India but outside India. We are in Congo, we are in Mozambique, we are in Nigeria. So we are creating different chapters globally, and we are holding different webinars and seminars, as Ramesh very aptly said. In the coming webinars and all, we'll be inviting all the technical guys from Nexus and Coinstore further to give some technical know-how to all our people. And again, we are creating centers of excellence in a couple of universities, wherein blockchain and will be the main focus. So I think Nexus partnership, and then again, uh, exchange and blockchain have to go together. So Coinstore and Nexus will be very strong and sturdy partners for us in days to come, and they have great utility in this. And we can show that it is not the association only for profitability, but it is an association to create social regeneration and to create a very positive, proactive force of students which can guide the whole technology base to the latest, or say the I should say industry 4.50, not 4 5, but 4.5 from industry 4.0. So that's the whole agenda. And uh, thank you once again, Nexus and Coinstore. And we are going to always stand with you. And in the days to come, we'll be having seminars and webinars, and a lot of different overseas speakers are going to come. We'll be inviting you also. And moreover, we'll also request you to come physically to our centers of excellence when we are opening in those universities. And let us enjoy the benefits of blockchain in a very, very social and harmonious manner.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sindhu, Ramesh, and Coinstore. And as we queue up the Human Synergy Project, I'd like to turn it back to Colin and take this as an opportunity. We talk about next generation technology and what it's going to take to go to that next level. Colin will tell us a little bit about Tritium++. Now, Nexus recently, we've introduced the trust system, based on building trust for good actors within a blockchain. We have a mobile wallet now. This mobile wallet, at least to my knowledge, is the first mobile wallet that is actually running on a node on the network without a third-party server intermediary. We've got tokens being created on the Nexus platform. We've got asset capability through NFT, conditional contracts, and I think everybody knows Nexus, their famous signature chains. Signature chains is this easy way, we have these long codes that we use in passwords and private keys that we use for Bitcoin and other crypto. And Nexus has used a password-based system that is actually more secure. In fact, it's quantum secure, where your password is always up here. It's not about storing your keys on a cold wallet or a hot wallet. It's about it being up here, and it's something that nobody can take away, and it's changeable. So those are the things that we know today about Nexus. Colin, please tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see out of Tritium++.
So Nexus, we focus just from studying the industry, kind of what are the key things that are needed, right? And we see a lot of projects like Filecoin. You gotta have a Filecoin to put your files on, and then maybe there's gonna be a picture coin, and maybe there's gonna be an Uber coin. And, there's all these different tokens, which I'm not negating the need for them, but what I think that people need more so than what these specific organizations need is they need something that's universal and consistent that they can use across the board. Just like the internet, you don't have a bridge between every router because all the routers speak different protocols. They all speak the same protocol, transport control protocol, TCP, IP, internet protocol. And that's, a consistent standard that we have across the internet. And that's the only way that the internet's capable of functioning is this open specification that's developed through the Internet Engineering Task Force is then, propagated and developed into all the existing hardware. And so we have this, global communication system. Right now, with a lot of blockchains, they're suffering from scalability, and from that suffering, they're creating bridges between all these different blockchains, which I'm not negating that could be a solution. But what we're focusing on for our solution is creating more of a universal blockchain platform. So Tritium is somewhat of the foundation. It sets the foundation for the register-based virtual machine, the 7-layer software stack. I've gotten anywhere, on average, about 33 nanoseconds per instruction for computation versus about 1.7 million nanoseconds for Ethereum. So it's very, very fast, but the functionality isn't quite as capable as Ethereum at the first because we wanted to focus on our foundation. Right? We wanted to get the register-based virtual machine, process virtual machine working properly. So that's where it is now. Now, as moving into Tritium++, we're expanding a lot of that functionality, adding more domain-specific languages. The phase that we're at right now, we have a query DSL. So if anyone's familiar with MySQL or structured query languages, you can actually query the blockchain without needing to create secondary indexes. So I can search for any asset on Nexus, any NFT that starts with the letter L or that has a letter L in a description or any other field, right? And it allows you to do range queries. You can actually do filters and then operators too. So just like in Excel, if I wanted to dump my transaction history and I want to do a sum on all my transactions, in Nexus, you can do that right through the API. You can simply just list your transactions, filter out your balance field, and then run a sum on that, or run a standard deviation on that, or run a min, medium, mode, mean, whatever you want to do. So we've kind of combined a lot of these functionalities with existing desktop applications, but as an integrated environment inside the API. So the other part is contract standardization is a big problem with Ethereum. We've seen the DAO. We've seen a lot of insecure contracts that can get pushed around that may not have the security properties of that fully understood. We have a standardization system so that as a user, if you want to engage in a smart contract, you can simply just, when I click debit, you'll be able to select a contract. Oh, I want this to be a sender expiring or receiver expiring. I want an exchange or anything like that. So you'll be able to just right out of box have just this box of templates, kind of like a box of Legos, so that it makes it very easy for developers, right? And then the Tritium++ really dives down into that, and it goes into all of the details, right? Our virtual machine, when it's fully complete with Tritium++, is going to have a lot of the full functionality of C++, right? We support floating points. One of the reasons that you can't support floating points in existing consensus applications is floating points are interpreted differently by different processor hardware. So they're actually a hardware level instruction. We've got software virtualized floating points so that our virtual machine will support that. It's also a 64-bit virtual machine rather than 256 bits. For a frame of reference, 264 bits can support a number of about 10 to the 17, right? So I think that's quadrillion, quintillion, something like that. When in the designing of it, and this is what I'm talking about, proactive design, there's no point to have 256 bits. That's more than the number of atoms in the known universe, right? That's what Ethereum utilizes. So we focus on practical applications, and the 64-bit being a practical number that you'll use in real life, right? You're never going to have more than 4 quadrillion tomatoes, right? So there's no need to have it, all of that amortized through the processor, because when you're doing 64 bits, you have to actually do 64 bits at a time for a 256-bit number. So you have at least 4 different values that have to be computed at once. Just to do something as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, it becomes extremely inefficient. So Tritium++ is kind of the wrapping on that. It's adding a lot of these structures on top of this foundation. And it's going to include the file system, which will allow you to do distributed storage, right? And then we're talking about, adding other network functionality like a peer-to-peer messaging functionality that's fully authenticated and using post-quantum encryption schemes such as Saber. That's a post-quantum key exchange algorithm so that you actually have a full quantum resistant communication channel. And as a developer, you'll be able to create a decentralized messaging app with just a couple simple API commands, because all of this heavy lifting is done in C++. So we focused on Nexus being this larger framework with the blockchain supplementing and augmenting this larger web framework. As Tash was talking about signature chains, one of the things that's coming out in one of the nearer updates is remote login authentication systems. So as you know, when you go to certain web services, it says login with Facebook or login with Google. Login with Nexus will allow this remote authentication to be capable, but you'll never actually have to exchange credentials with the remote server. And so that's going to solve a lot of issues like phishing, which is one of the main ways that people actually get hacked online, is going to a fake login page and submitting their credentials in. With Nexus, and especially having the mobile wallet with an embedded node on it, you'll simply be able to get a notification on your phone to say, hey, somebody's requesting access to your SigChain. Would you like to, create a profile to access this? And then you click OK, and what's going to happen under the hood is you're going to use public key cryptography to actually sign a message that authenticates your specific user from that phone and device, so that on that phone you're actually generating your transactions and you're actually holding, the credentials stored in encrypted memory on that device, and then creating those and sending that to the remote server. So for one, it creates scaling benefits for the person that's developing, with a login with Nexus. You don't have to deal with any, of these login authentication frameworks like OAuth, which usually charge you per user. And 3, you make it safer for your users. So when you're starting to try to make the internet safer, especially when you're dealing with people's money, right? Having an authentication system, for one, that's free, and for 2, that never exposes credentials even to you as a service. That means that you can't have databases that get hacked. You don't need to worry about hashing your passwords, because you don't have any passwords that you're hashing. And you don't ever have to worry about anybody's funds being compromised or anybody's accounts being compromised, because the only way to compromise it would be to compromise that physical device, right? So a lot of these technologies that we're seeing with Tritium++ are coming out to help augment for both the user and the developer and the people that utilize those specific services. It's essentially, like I said, a larger web framework, the blockchain augmenting that, so that we can function to provide, and bridge some of these architectural limitations that we see. And as it progresses forward, it's going to eventually get further and further down into the hardware levels, where we see actual decentralized communication protocols emerge from that. So Nexus, as we're designing it, as kind of a one-stop shop, universal blockchain. You get everything that you need specifically on there, and then peer-to-peer marketplaces and others that's coming out in a near Tritium++ update, where you can exchange freely with one another without needing to have any intermediaries, and then Nexus becoming that reserve currency. So we really, my firm belief is that in the future, when you're running an operating system that's a distributed operating system, you're not going to want to have to go buy Filecoins because you want to save this picture, and then have to go buy UberCoin apps because you need to get a ride. There needs to be a universal currency, and there needs to be a universal platform that is like TCP/IP, that can be replicated, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bound by one network, right? That's why we designed Nexus with private and hybrid mode, where you can fire up your own network, but they'll still be able to communicate the same protocol, which means that you're not going to have these limitations when you start bridging to other, projects. Like if we created a bridge to Ethereum, anytime you need state from that Ethereum contract, you can rely on the speed of Ethereum. So even if Nexus is fast, if you're always waiting on Ethereum, you're going to be just as slow as Ethereum, because the slowest part of the computational system slows the entire system down, even if you're fast, right? If you've ever looked at your Windows experience score, you'll notice that the experience score is, the top of it is set by your lowest bounded hardware, because that's just how it works with computers, especially in distributed computing. So we've designed it to be this one-stop shop. And so with, the full Tritium++ release, you'll be able to be developing, with domain-specific languages, the file system, and then we just started discussing about creating, a peer-to-peer VPN system, that would somewhat be an extension of the peer-to-peer, messenger. And there's also the crypto API, which will, using your SigChain username, password, and PIN, you'll be able to create encrypted applications without having to manage keys, because that's a big problem with creating privacy-focused applications. Is if it's a private key that gains you access, to your specific account, and you lose a private key, you don't have access anymore. SigChains help with that, but they also allow you to generate one-time use encryption keys directly from the API and actually pass data into the API for it to encrypt it for you and decrypt it, so that you can start to actually have these high security applications without the need to deal with any of the underlying cryptography and the safety requirements and user issues as well. Because as we know, people losing Bitcoins by sending to invalid addresses, or you uninstall the app on your phone, just so make sure you have a recovery phrase set, because if you have 50 Bitcoins on an app on your iPhone and you delete the app, your Bitcoins are gone, completely gone, right? That's a huge, major user issue. And I've heard so many stories of that happening. Signature chains, fix that. And so this login system and encryption it augments that further, where it's not just your coins, but it can be all your files and your data that's encrypted. And if you lose that key, then you lose all your data. It's essentially the same result as catching ransomware, right? Ransomware is all your files get encrypted. You don't have the key to decrypt it. So even if you did it intentionally, if you lose that key, it's gone. So the crypto API, that's another really important part that ties the whole framework together. So really, our primary focus is make it very easy for developers, make it easy for users. But if you develop on Nexus, it does a lot of that work for you in creating, those simpler user experiences with matching encryption keys for you, matching account credentials, providing higher security standards, scalability, database services, so on and so forth. So it's really exciting to see this all coming to life now and emerging. There's a lot of really new, unique technologies that have become really valuable for the developers that have used it so far, and we really hope to see you building on it soon as well. And there's a lot of fun little toys there to build with.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Colin. Thanks, Ramesh, Sindhu. There's a lot to look forward to with this partnership, Trading Plus and beyond. I mean, it really is talking about next generation technology with the pooled staking and the P2P marketplace, API, augmented contracts, this concept of next hash and two-factor authentication, being able to log into web services through your Nexus blockchain. Not to mention your constant time update, scalability update for Nexus, trust and ambassador voting groups, and there's a lot more stuff that's coming along the way. So let's turn it over and queue up the Human Synergy Project and kind of absorb this as we get back to our roots. All right, thanks everyone. It's been a good stream, and I think everybody's been, those who didn't understand Bitcoin and the concept of crypto and Nexus and now Coinstore partnership, now you have a little bit to go off of, and hope everybody can go check out Nexus at nexus.io and Coinstore at coinstore.com. Thank you.
Nah!